Hello everyone, it's Temujin here from SL Colonies, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the new SL Colonies furniture root prim system. So as you all should be aware, you can already craft different furniture, including chairs and beds. And depending on the type of sheets you use with the seamstress, for example, you will get different quality beds and chairs and cushions, which affect how much energy and fatigue will be regenerated when you use them. And also, depending on the type of wood you use through the carpentry system and the logging system, will determine how much health that furniture has. Well, the problem is you are limited to the designs that we put into the system. All right. What if you have a house like I do here in the premium land of Second Life? Or you have a specially themed sim or roleplay environment where you would like to use the SL Colonies system on your furniture, but you don't want it to look like the current system does. So we do have products that will allow you to, for example, use our scripts in something like a couch that's already got animations built into it, or a chair that doesn't have animations already built into it, but you'd like to add SL Colonies animations to it. Or even your private bed that might already have, cuddle animations and stuff in it. So we do have options for that. And we're selling them in two versions. So we've got a copy, no transfer version for furniture that is copy, no transfer, which you'll find is most furniture comes like this. So this is a modify copy, no transfer couch. So I can make, many of them around my house, but I can't transfer them to other people. There's also a no copy transfer version. So if you want to make furniture to sell for SL Colonies players, you could if you are a mesh designer. Just make sure that you keep the vendors stocked up because they are no copy. So this chair, for example, I think it's the same as the couch I had out there, modified copy and transfer. So this is a full perm chair that I can do what I want with. So this will work with that as well. But then I've also got furniture out there that is no modifier. And there is ways around it with no modifier items, except that your item will not be linked to the chair. So for example, you'll see what I mean when we get into the damage system later, but how you need to get this furniture root prim added is by linking it to your existing items. So I'll give you an example if you say, well, this is full perm, but let's give you an example if something is not modify, but you'd still like to use the SL Colonies system and be able to regenerate energy and fatigue on beds. And let's pretend for a moment that this is not modify and I can't link anything to it, and it has no animations, and it does not have it, and it actually doesn't have animations in it. So basically you would pull out something like the copy version of the chair root prim, you'd res it out, and it's very simple to do. Just sit your avatar on it, and that gives you the animation options. If you want to change your pose, you'll see the actual box itself also has animations built into it, so all the av-sitter animations and so on. But the reason I say sit on it is because when it's not linked to anything, it's easy to move around and just adjust as you like to suit your furniture. So I'm going to rotate it, very simple, move it over to the chair, make sure it's in the center, move it up a bit, and do that. So it's simple as that, really. Now this chair works as an SL Colonies chair, except it's not the chair that's doing that, it's the box. So you'd have to sit on the box. You can also make it transparent, edit it, go to the textures and set the texture to something transparent so you can't see the box. The better way to do it, of course, is to stretch the box out so that it's wrapped around the whole chair. So it's easier for you to click on when it's transparent, because when it's transparent, you'll just click on a chair, you won't know what to do, right? You can also turn off the floating text and stuff like that. If you left click it and go to hover text, you can set the hover text off. Ignore this for a second. I'll explain what this fir wood scrap thing is when we get to the damage. system. So let's say you want to actually, you've got modify objects and you'd like to make this item into an SL Colonies chair now. So let's pull out the copy prim again, the copy version of this, because this chair is modify and copy. So the real purpose of having two different, a copy transfer, no transfer, and a no copy transfer is because you really, when you want to link an item to someone else's creation, your item either has to be full perm or it has to match the permissions that you are using. So this is a copy no transfer box, and this chair is a copy no transfer chair, and it is modify, so I can still link it. If it's different, it won't work. So how to get this linked, if you've never linked anything before, I'll explain firstly this chair. If you can take note that when I've got the chair selected, you'll see blue around the chair itself. And then down here, you see yellow around this area here. Basically, blue signifies that it's the slave prim, okay? Or a secondary or third or fourth linked item. And the yellow around an item represents that it is the master prim. When you link the box to your item, it has to have the yellow background and it has to yellow outline, and it has to be the master prim. So if I go to edit linked, you'll see what I mean, how it's multiple items. If I click on the yellow section, it looks like it's the master prim, looks like it's the shadow for the chair. So if I move it around, you can see I can move around the shadow separately to the chair. So you can, some people think you just link items, like if I were to right click, edit the box, and then hold down shift and then left click on the chair, and then I just click link. Oh, now it's all linked and it's all good, fine and dandy. But if you take note now, yes, they are all linked, but the box itself has a blue outline, and this shadow here is still the master prim, and that's not how you should be linking your items to SL Colonies. SL Colonies has to be the master prim for it to work. So how do you do that? How do you make this the master prim? Make sure that you select your original item first. So I'll click on my chair, right click, and I'll go edit. I'll hold down shift and then left click on the SL Colonies item last. Make sure the SL Colonies item is last. Then click link. And you will see that now it is the name of the item. Like if I right click and edit, firstly, you'll see the yellow border around the SL Colonies first. Everything else is now blue. You'll see that the name of the item has changed to take on this name of the SL Colonies prim. And you'll see the description has taken on something important for the scripts to relate to. It tells you how much energy and fatigue and sickness is regenerated and such. You can change the description, but it will change itself anyway. So you can't change the amount of health or energy and things like that you will generate. So now this item fully works with SL Colonies. You still really, with this one, because it hasn't got animations, if I were to sit on this now, it'll sit me on the master prim, this one, and it will use this animation. And now that it's linked, it's going to be hard. See, if I move it around, it doesn't move me around with it. So really you want to place it first prior to linking. So let's stand up. We will edit this, edit linked. I will unlink the box. So now it's not part of the chair anymore. I'm going to sit on this and I'm going to position it on the chair as I would like it to be. All right, that's good enough for me. I'm going to hit ignore. Now I'm going to select the chair first, then the box, and I'm going to hit link. Now this chair is a fully working SL Colonies chair. If I want to hide this so it doesn't look, yucky, I can click the box and go texture, go to the bin Fong screen, click on the texture here and just choose a transparent texture. And if I don't want the floating text to show, because I don't like it in my scene, I can ignore this. I can go, sorry, it's not left, yes it is. Hover text, you can turn it on and off, or you can set the lines that you want showing. I'm just going to turn it off in this case. There you go. So now when I left click anywhere on the chair, it'll give me the menu. in my other menu, which I'll explain in the damage system, if I right click and sit, I will sit on the master prim. It always sits on a master prim. So an issue you might have is, so for example, with this couch, if I right click on this couch, I can see it's made of multiple parts. I can see, if I go edit linked, I've got the main couch, which doesn't appear to have any animations on it. I've got a shadow that's blue, hasn't got any animations, but I know there's also a box here that contains all the animations for this specific couch. And I know that if I right click on the top of the couch where the box isn't and I try and sit, when I link the SL Colonies stuff, it doesn't work as I like. But when I sit now, you'll see I've sat down, I've got an animation, and it's rezzed out a book. And I'd really like to use those animations and not SL Colonies ones for this particular chair. So let's go ahead. We'll check the permissions on the chair. Let's modify copy. All right. So I'll get a copy, no transfer version of the chair. If I try and use a no copy, I don't believe it will work. We'll try it. Hang on. Chair. I'll do this one quickly. So I use the no copy version. Let's try and link this. See, link failed. Cannot link no copy with no transfer. So this will not work. I have to use the copy version. Match the permissions that are on your item. So let's res out a copy version. And because I want to use the animations that are built into this chair, what I suggest you do, you don't have to, sometimes it will work, but sometimes it won't. What I suggest you do is you delete all the animations, anything to do with the avsitter scripts, so you can delete all this here, for example, all the way down through the animations. You've got to leave the SLC named items, otherwise you break the script. So you can hit delete and you delete everything in it. Now I want to make this a master prim, so I'll right click my couch first, left click, select my box and hit link. And now they should all be linked and working. Problem is, if I now right click on my couch, because this is the master prim, I believe, it'll sit me on here. But I know that my couch, if I right click on this part of the couch and sit, it works perfectly. And it is still an SL Colonies couch. If I click on my couch, even here, it comes up with my hover text settings and my repair settings for the damage system and so on. I want to hide this little box, so I'm going to edit linked. I might set this to local, makes it easier to rotate for me. I'm going to rotate it like so. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to leave it behind my couch so I know where it is. I'm going to set the texture to a transparent texture. I suggest doing transparent and not, a transparent texture and not the transparency, simply because when we get into the damage system and I explain when something vanishes, when it returns, it sets a transparency back to 0. So instead of 100%, so you'll see the box when it re-reses after being damaged. I want to remove the hover text in this case. So I'll click on this hover text and turn that off. Now the reason it keeps popping up this, we'll have to fix this in an update, is because it's thinking I'm asking it to repair, and I'll explain that in the damage system. So that's how that works as expected. And I'll show you also bed. Also before we go into beds, just to show you the description, and you can also see it on the floating text when I had it on, but chairs will affect your energy by 6. It will regenerate 6 energy. It will regenerate 2 health. It won't do anything to your hunger and thirst and blood or anything like that. And it will also regenerate 1 of your fatigue. No sickness or drunk or anything like that. Beds, on the other hand, are the opposite. They will do less energy, but more fatigue. And I'll show you that when we go upstairs. All right, here we are in my bedroom. So as you know, beds have a lot of animations that you like to use. This bed in particular, I don't believe has any adult ones, but let's say you want to use SL Colonies. In SO, it regenerates your fatigue, but you don't want to lose your animations. So it's the same thing but instead of, this is a copy, so let's go general, modify copy. So I'm going to have to get the item that is the same. So this time I'll choose the bed prim and I'll res it out. And as you see, the bed prim regenerates only 1 energy. It regenerates 2 more health. So instead of just 2 health, it will regenerate 4 health. Won't do anything to anything else except the fatigue. It will regenerate 8 fatigue. So it's better than a chair for fatigue. Also better for the chair for health. So same thing here. I'm going to want to move this. I'll make it the master prim first. Let's link. I'm now going to edit the box and I'm going to move it somewhere inconspicuous. I like to have it just outside though and make it transparent so I know where the box is. In this case, I'm going to stretch it out. So I know it's in this part of the bed. I'm going to check the texture here to a transparent texture and I'm going to get rid of the hover text. Actually, before I do that, let's turn on the damage so I can show you the next part. Turn on damage and you'll see a 4th line come up. Bed, the type of item it is, what it regenerates, and the item health. Beds have 250 health. Chairs have 100 health. You can't improve on that unless you are using the SL Colonies crafting system. And you'll get better items based on the type of wood used, whether it's fir wood, oak wood, maple, all that stuff. All right. And it was the same thing before, same with the energy and fatigue. If you want a better bed that regenerates more fatigue, it has to be one of the crafted beds. These scripts are just going to be a default one to help you out to suit your theme. All right, so I'm going to click on this and I'm going to change the hover text to off. And I'm going to show you how the damage system works. So for this one, I know my box was here. I can click anywhere, I think, on this chair. Some chairs are fancy. I know that, like, for example, this couch, if I don't click on the box specifically and I click on the couch, it will think it's for sale. The object is not for sale. And if I click on where I can sit, it'll work. It's weird like that. So with this chair, let's turn on damage. Oops. Turn on. You won't see anything because I've turned off the hover text, so I'm going to turn on my hover text. And I'm also going to select which lines I want shown. So, a bit hard to see. I don't want the item name, so set lines. I'll get rid of line 1. You'll see them vanish. I'll get rid of the type, and I'll get rid of the what's regenerated. And I just want to see the health. So how damage works, it allows players to destroy furniture around your property, and we will make more items destroyable, not just chairs and couches and beds. We'll make scripts that can be used on tables, other bits and bobs that don't regenerate things but allow to be damaged. Even doors and walls and windows, we'll do that so that you can really have a pretty cool RP environment for PvP and raids. So a player can damage your item and not destroy it completely if they like hit it a few times and the health, say, goes to, I don't know, 90, 80, 70, but doesn't get to 0. It'll stay that way permanently, but you can repair it. If it gets to 0, it'll be destroyed and it will vanish, but it will come back after 1 hour. So I'll show you how that works. Pop out a weapon, let me check my sharpness. Yeah, should be alright, should be able to damage this. It might take a while, but let's do a few little hits first. So I'll do a hit here. You see it goes to 95, and then it's gone to 90 when I hit it again. So it'll stay that way permanently. If I now walk away because, you know, I've been scared out or I've been attacked and killed, it'll always have 90. So the next person that comes along will have to hit it less. But you as the owner though, if you click on it, yes, you get the menu, the default menu, but then you see this menu. So SLC root, what scraps would you like to use to repair this? So if the system detects that you have any wood scraps, it can be maple, oak, fir, it can be any of the types of wood scraps. If it detects that, it allows you to use 10 wood scraps to regenerate 10 of its health. So if I click fir wood scraps, the health goes back to 100. If it was 80 at the time, it would have gone back to 90. you'll have to keep doing it to repair it completely. So let's see what happens when I destroy the item. All right, here we are. It's about to get destroyed. Let's hit it a couple more times. There you go. So you see it just vanishes completely. Put my weapon away. All the floating text vanishes. It's now phantom. Like it wasn't even there. We might add more stuff to it, like, you know, bits of wood exploding places and temp res or something like that if people want that. But you can see if I right click, it's still here. It's just been set to random, to phantom and stuff. Now, the reason I suggested that you set your box to a transparent texture instead of using transparency is because when it comes back, it sets everything to 0% transparency. So it might look weird. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you've got any questions, just leave your comments in the YouTube video. You can jump on our Discord, our forums, or in our support groups within Second Life. And of course, if you haven't already, please do subscribe and like the video to help with the YouTube algorithm and to spread the word. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.